Hello viewers, good evening. Today I am going to complete the poem Good-Morrow composed by John Donne. In previous lecture, we have described and defined what is metaphysical poetry. We have also discussed and learned the key character of metaphysical poetry and how does this name conceit are derived. In the previous class, we have also go through the life and work of John Donne, and there was a short explanation of the poem, a surface meaning of the poem Good-Morrow. Today I am going to discuss and describe the deep meaning and explore and explain the critical way of theory of this poem in a critical analysis, and we will find what the actual meaning the poet want to convey to reader. So first of all, let us recite the first stanza of the poem. The first stanza is likewise. If you have textbook, please open your textbook, and the title of the poem is Good-Morrow composed by John Donne. The first stanza is likewise. I wonder by my troth, what thou and I did till we loved, were we not vain till then, but sucked on country pleasures childishly, or snorted we in the seven sleepers' den. That was so, but this all pleasures fancies be. If ever any beauty I did see, which I desired and got, it was but a dream of thee. A very beautiful description of childhood, or the first stage of love also. In the first stanza, speaker says about the love of unconsciousness. There are two or three terms which must be clear. The first word is truth. What is the meaning of the truth? I wonder by my truth. Truth means plight of faith. That means also a type of truth. Now, next word is wind. It's vocabulary, it's a hard word. Wind means attempt to far away feeding of a child. You can also say wind means to feeding the milk to a baby. And the now seven sleepers den. I will disclose this term, what is the meaning of seven sleepers den. Before doing this, first simply explain the first stanza. In the first stanza, the speaker contemplates his life. Before we loved. Before we loved is a symbol, is a remarkable word. And this is the lamentation, this is the contemplation of the poet, implying the time before he experienced love, before he get the true knowledge of love. In fact, love is very complex word. I think no one can define the true meaning of love, and one can try to describe, one can try to convey, anyone can try to imply the surface meaning, or they can only try. But what is the word love? I think it's very complex, very controversial, and very complicated. It depends on time, situation, condition, and you may say that love is multi-dimensions. Just like in today physics, the scientists are says that the universe has multi-dimension. So we can say that love has multi-dimensions, and one can try to understand, but no can be perfect in the field of love, and no can be 100% sure to understand or to get knowledge or to be a presence in the field of love, in the experience of love. You can define love in different ways, like Sufism, like spiritual, physical, attraction, lust, many more. But love is love, and one can connect it from the God, from the Almighty, from the lovers, from the girl, from the women, from the money, from the career. But what is actually is really say I don't know, and one can only try to understand and try to search and research what is love. In the first stanza, poet is fascinated the love which is going in the market right now, in today's love, which starts from the body and ends from the body with materialistics by money, wealth, fame, career, and glamorous. Today is the definition of love is like that. If we connect with the God, then we have to surrender our ego, our surrenders, our all types of belongings, and we have to lift all things and become a saint. There is another type of philosophy. There are many ism, ISM, means theory. A number of thinkers, the number of theory. And according your reason, according your mind, and according your situation, you have to choose one, which theory is perfect for you, and people go through that theory. So once again, come to the point. In the first stanza, the speaker contemplates his life before we loved, implying the line before he experienced love. When I reached to the point, I got astonished and deep into the sea of thought. What is the meaning of experienced love? With the meaning, the poem is directed to while contemplating, the speaker asks questions that explore the nature of his and his lover's life before they met. These questions are rhetorical, as he does not expect a literal response. Addressing his lover, he asks somewhat playfully what they were doing in the world before they fell in love. It's a rhetorical question. The poet asks his beloved, what were they doing before they fell in love? The answer is that they were feeding the milk, they were baby, they were infant, or you can say that they don't have knowledge, actual knowledge, what is the love is. He further implies that their lives only began when they let go of simple country pleasure and embraced a more mature, less childish way of living. Further, the speaker wonders if they were sleeping like the seven sleepers, referring a legend about seven children who were buried alive by a Roman emperor, and instead of dying, they fell into the deep sleep. They were only to be discovered nearly 200 years later. The speaker implies that his lover and he were a similar dormant state, waiting to be awakened and reunited at the right moment. In the last three lines, the speaker provides answer to his earlier questions and confirms that everything he has said is true. Anything he experienced before meeting his current lover was not real, but merely a fleeting fantasy. Now, I am going to disclose the meaning of seven sleepers' den. The story of the seven sleepers for Christian and Ashabul Kahf for Muslim. The seven sleepers' den is play a very important role for Christian and Muslim both. Both believe in these seven sleepers' den. In ancient time, legend found in both Christianity and Islam tradition about a young man who held in cave to escape religious persecution during the Roman Empire around the 3rd century, and miraculously fell into a long sleep. Upon awakening centuries later, they found their society had transformed into one that no longer persecuted their faith, and they became a symbol of faith. During the reign of the Roman Emperor Decius, 7 or 8 in some version young Christian men in the city of Ephesus refused to participate in pagan ritual. To protect their faith, they fled to a nearby mountain cave, where they fell into a miraculous sleep. Pagan rituals in the Roman Empire centered on maintaining public and private order through the meticulous performance of sacrifice, vows, and prayers to a pantheon of gods and household spirits with a focus on fulfilling obligations and ensuring worldly benefits like fertility and success rather than personal faith. But these sleepers didn't believe in pagan rituals, they believe in monotheism, and practice of monotheism was crime on that time. So he left the country, he left the state, and they hid himself into a cave, where they fell into a miraculously sleep. While they slept, Christianity went from being a persecuted religion to the state religion of the Roman Empire under Emperor Theodosius II. The men awoke believing only a short time had passed. They went into town to buy food, and their old coins drew attention, revealing their long sleep. The story of their sleep became widely known, leading them to die after experiencing a society that had become Christian. John Donne's The Good-Morrow explains three phases of love: the superficial existence between love, the awakening of true love, and creation of a private world with a beloved, and the deep spiritual connection where lovers become a unified whole, achieving immortality and transcending ordinary life. The poem contrasts meaningless past experience with the profound awakening to love, which becomes a new eternal existence for the speaker and his beloved. In the second stanza, the speaker explains how this being has become his entire universe and the deep spiritual connection they share. Their souls are awakening, coming to life through the love they share, which has opened their eyes and filled them with happiness. They are without fear, and their small room becomes an everywhere. It happens in really? Yeah, it happens. The poet says in the first stanza that they were infant and they don't know the real meaning of life and love. But in the second stanza, they unite and they try, and they started to try to understand what is love, and they reached to the nearest point, and where they feel the experience of love that turned his life, where he felt uplifting of his soul and life through a being, or a being for a man. The speaker emphasized that any external temptation is meaningless. His vision is governed by love, transforming everywhere he sees into something beautiful. He described a tiny room that holds the entire of the world. There is no need for him to leave the space he shares with his lover, because their time together in that room makes it feel infinite. It's the height of love. Can anyone in this world of materialism feel like that? Yes, if they feel like that, that means they are blessed. I think so. It may not be. There is no need for him to leave the space he shares with his lover, because their time together in that room makes it feel infinite. And what is infinite? You know well the meaning of infinite. The speaker further conveys that the exploration of new lands, like the discoveries happening in his time, no longer matter to him. The discovery of new world is insightful, insignificant, because he already possesses his own world, and his own world is that lady or his lady. I feel thrilling to teaching and going through these lines. It feels a different types of ideas in my mind. Anyway, it is the literature, and literature means which should be insist you to be thrilled. And I think John Donne really is great in such types of genre, and that genre is called metaphysical poetry. Now the third and final stanza of the poem. In the final stanza, the speaker says that he is gazing into his lover's eye. He is gazing into his lover's eyes. I have no words to describe. Can anyone gauge one's eye? If yes, then how long? 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes? But gauging in the eye, I think it's also a type of symbol, where he can see his own reflection. That means her eye is a mirror, and he see himself into her eyes, and recognize that her face is also mirrored in his eyes. Their deep emotional connection is reflected in their faces. The flowing lines shift to focus on their physical form. Now here, the love transforms from physical to spiritual, from physical to unified, from physical to union. I am remembering Osho and his book. Osho, the great philosopher of the modern time, no one can beat him, and he wrote many books. And in many books, there is one book that name is Sambho Se Samadhi Tak. And that means that the poet is making a samadhi, prakashta of love. The speaker compares their faces to two hemispheres. The speaker compares their faces to two hemispheres. Unlike the imperfect hemisphere of the physical world, these hemispheres are flawless. There is no better part in existence, nor any sharp north or declining west. The speaker views himself and his lover as perfect soulmates. They are perfect soulmates, and they both are hemisphere, and where the hemisphere meets, it's become a zenith, each being the missing half of the other. In the final three lines, the speaker addresses how imbalance leads to death, likely refreshing medieval humoral theory, which held that health is dependent on a balanced mix of bodily fluids. In the Middle Age, a good health was measured by the fluids of the body, and on that basis, if the two souls are met purely, they become the soulmate. It is the meeting of two hemispheres. This is the point of infinite, where one and one become infinite. This metaphor illustrates that their love is harmonious, both physically and emotionally. Means both love is balanced, there is a harmony. The perfect balance is achieved solely through their mutual presence. It's a very remarkable line. Love is not love, It is not a bed of rose. It needs sacrifice. It needs patience. And the most important thing is that to bear to someone and to pretend. If you are not feeling well, then you are pretend to be well. That is the mutual presence. With their combined emotion, sustaining their connection, their equal and mutual devotion creates a love so strong and balanced that it transcends morality, making it immune to time and decay. Finally, I am going to conclude the poem. Good-Morrow is a sonnet by John Donne. It is called sonnet, but it doesn't follow any parameter of sonnet. In the next class, we will discuss what is sonnet. But the poet says that it is sonnet, but in fact there are 23 lines in this poem, but a sonnet has only 14 lines. The oldest version of sonnet is the Italian sonnet, where one sestus and one octave, and in later Elizabethan era Shakespeare composed sonnet, and it is called the Shakespearean sonnet. There were 3 stanza of 4 lines and the last stanza was 2 lines. That is called Shakespearean sonnet. But the poet says that it is also a sonnet. So the Good-Morrow is a sonnet by John Donne, but it doesn't follow any parameter of sonnet. Written in 1633, it is directed toward the lover of the poet speaker. The speaker begins by reflecting on his and his lover's life before they met. He compares this existence to that of children who rely on others for sustenance, indicating a lack of understanding about the true meaning of life. He portrays this time as a deep slumber where life feels dull and stagnant. The only desire he feels now is the love of his beloved, which brings a longing for beauty and dreams. He given an abstract yet vivid portrayal of the love they share, exploring how it shapes his perception of the world. He emphasized that they should cherish their small space together, turning it into their own world, free from the worries of outside discoveries. The final stanza shifts from the external world back to the loves themselves, finding in the unity of their love evidence of its eternal nature. The poet admires the beauty of his beloved, noting how they gaze into each other's eyes, allowing them to see their reflection in one another. He asserts that if their love is genuine, even death cannot sever their bond, highlighting the enduring power of true love. Therefore, this poem remains a timeless exploration of love's transformative power, demonstrating John Donne's mastery in merging intellect with passion. In this way, the poem has come to an end, and I think from all aspects we have made a critical analysis of this poem. Now this poem complete in itself. If this video is useful for you and the students, like my channel, subscribe and share. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.